Oh my God.
Yeah.
I should get my blood pressure checked or some shit, man. I'm red faced as hell.
Right.
And it ain't the sun. It's been cloudy as fuck here.
All right. Hey, what is shaking, everybody? Welcome to We Talkin' Podcast. This is just where two guys are just talking, basically. Formerly the Mansplaining Show with Jake and Dave, but we gave that name up because it's fucking stupid. And now we're doing this. So we're trying to think about stuff we wanted to talk about. And last night I had this really weird thought or worry because we were going to talk about comedy specials today. And I'm like, you know what? I probably shouldn't go too hard on any of the specials that I've seen because there is a good chance you're actually going to meet these people at some point.
Yeah.
You know, you end up doing you're down at Comedy Works and suddenly somebody you talk mad shit about walks in and you're like, oh, fuck, I never thought I'd run into you, Brendan Schaub. You know, like it, or some stupid shit like that. You're like, oh, man, this is the one guy I shouldn't have fucking talk shit to. And, yep, hey, how's it going? But, yeah, man, welcome back. Sorry, guys, I was out for the past week or two. I'm actually sorry that just to get this out of the way, I totally forgot that I did not put the last audio episode up.
Oh,
well, like I was moving and stuff, and I just kind of forgot about it. And then I'm like, I'm like, because I like to listen back to our episodes just to see how it sounds, how we did, what we can do better, all that other fun stuff. And I'm like, where the hell is episode 2? And then I look on my hard drive. I'm like, oh, there it is. Whoops.
Oh.
You know, so.
Is this also, didn't you also just have surgery?
Yeah.
That too?
Yes, I did. I had neck surgery less than a couple days ago. So last Friday. Yeah. I was surprised by it. Like oh, dude. I got to write all the stuff out. But I come out of the surgery and I'm in decent amount of pain, all things considered. But I had had the surgery before, so I knew what to expect. You know? And I was like, hey, when the nurse comes by or finally came by after a couple of minutes, I was like, yeah, can I get something for pain? Because I'm in a decent amount of pain right now. And she's like, oh, did you hit your button? I'm like, what button? Like, we told you had a button. I'm like, well, clearly I wasn't paying attention. Here's some Demerol. You know? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I'm feeling a lot better. Now, the funny thing is that the, like word gets around at that hospital. Any of the nurses that came, they're like, oh, we hear you're a comedian. I'm like, oh, hi. Yeah, yeah, you know, so all the nurses were really cool. But freaking, there was this old guy next to me. I assumed that he was an old guy. And this is where my shortcomings as a human being really, really fall flat. Like, okay, when I see a baby start crying or throwing a fit, my initial response is to laugh and mock them.
Okay.
Because that's the kind of environment that I grew up in. Oh, you want to cry? We're going to make fun of you for crying then. I'm like, you know, like, yeah, shit, that's not going to work because, you know, sorry, just in our family, we don't like people friggin' whining a lot. So, you know what? I totally didn't. I'll have to do this in post. I didn't change the title of this episode, but I'll do that later. So, hold on, let me see. Edits. So, I'm in the room, and like if there's one thing I can't stand is the sound of fucking people whining. This, by the way, was the same thing when I was in restaurants and managing. If you whine to me, the chances are I wasn't going to help you, just because like fuck that. No, that's not what we're doing here. And this guy, all I kept hearing is and when the nurse comes in and says, anything else we can get for you? I'm like, yeah, do you got a tampon that I can give the guy next door to me? Because it's weird. This is
what the fuck, man?
No, it is. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of nice guy that I am, right? And the whole thing is that he's flipping out because he's like, oh, this hurts so much. And I'm like, part of me is like, dude, you just had surgery. How did you think you were going to feel when you came out of this?
You're fucked up.
Even if they're taking out something that's been hurting you, the fact that they cut you open ripped through your muscle tissues, took something out or whatever, fixed something, then stitched it all back up together again. That's a new trauma. That's a new pain that you're gonna have to deal with. You have to expect that. And maybe this guy never had surgery before. Maybe, you know. Point is that I realized I am a heartless bastard when it comes to people in pain, so I should not be doing any humanitarian work. Or maybe I'm the perfect guy for it. I don't know. But he was, you know, you guys don't fucking care. She's like, all right, we're not going to be swearing here. Okay. I'm like, God damn it, dude. And this is the thing that pisses me off. Okay, so, like, I was requesting for the nurse to come by. It took a while. Normally, because I've been in ERs before or recovery rooms, the moment you hit that, maybe you count like less than 30 seconds and somebody's there for you. The only time that doesn't happen is when one person is fucking hogging up all the nurses.
Yep.
I need this, I need that, I need... And then like they need more extra attention. I'm like, there's no amount of attention you're going to get that's going to make you stop hurting right now. Like none. You know what I mean? And it was freaking crazy. And either way, they got me out of there. They got me a room. And I'm like, man, I hope they don't put me next to that guy. But at the same time, I kept thinking, I hope they put me next to that guy. Because I was laughing at him through the other side of the curtain. Like, what a dick. I'm in pain. I'm like, fuck you. I just had neck surgery, you asshole. Like, I'm not bitching and moaning.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe he had something that was way worse. I don't know. Like I said, I'm speaking really out of ignorance, not on my ass here. But, man, that almost made the whole experience worth it to me. That, you know, getting more feelings back in my hands and shit. So. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
That reminds me of, you know that joke I have? Like the closer, my grandmother and the cunt and all that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that joke. So that is a partially true story. So that whole lady who is, you know, hoo-ha and all that shit, that was real. And it was like, and when you said that, it was like, it made me think, because they didn't bring the fucking nurses by at least every fucking 2 minutes. There was always a nurse inside of that, and it was like fucking ridiculous. She was just yelling the whole fucking time. And they would just walk by, you know, but then again, that's taken away from like, what if somebody really needs help like now? Because you're fucking with this idiot, you're fucking with this fucking mental case. Somebody could be having a problem, and then you're not there. All because she's yelling out, my hoo-hoo hurts, like repeatedly.
Yeah. I'm like,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't know what they do. You know, they can give you painkillers, and that's about it. Yeah. You know? I remember when I was talking to Jenny, because I was really, really scared about this operation. Really, really fucking scared. But I was trying not to show it. Not to be a tough guy, but I'm thinking that if I start panicking, it's going to spread. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I learned that a lot just from managing restaurants and stuff. And everybody's flipped out. We're understaffed. We're getting slammed. There's a line out the door. And I have to keep in mind, I'm like, nope, this is exactly how I planned it was going to go. Don't worry about it, guys. I got it covered, you know? And I would just say shit like that just to kind of calm everybody else down, because I'm like, the moment you guys get frantic, you know, it's over. That's when everybody turns on each other and we got to stick together and all this other weird shit. But, yeah, I felt bad. So I was talking and saying, like, you know, the thing is that, like, when I was graduated high school and I went to New York City, and I didn't see the actual New York City because you're on tunnels pretty much all the way to Penn Station, right? From Jersey to Penn Station. I couldn't see the skyline or whatever, what it looked like. And if you've never seen the New York skyline before, it's really something to behold. When you look at that whole city and you're like, this is what humans built? Like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I remember my heart sinking in the back of that cab when I got out of Penn Station and headed into the Upper West Side. And I'm like, I'm thinking of it like that way. I'm like, well, the only thing I could do is pay the cabbie when he takes me to wherever I'm going. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the next step? Okay, I can go to the front desk to the hotel for the one night that I'm staying. All right. What's next step after that? Well, you can go find something to eat, or, you know, whatever. And it's like, okay, I've done everything. There's nothing else I can do right now. There's no other options for me to take, because once I was in New York, and I'm like, I don't have a ticket to get back. I don't have money to get back. You know, I'm there on my own. I'm 19, you know, and I'm scared shitless and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, this is what's going on. This is where, you know, whatever's happening is happening. And so that's the way I kind of thought about it when it comes to all the surgery and stuff. I'm like, because I asked him, like, was there anything I could do to make sure this tumor doesn't grow back? And they're like, not really. you know? And I'm like, okay, all right. So I can't worry about that now. You know, I have, what can I worry about? You know, like, we'll make it to the, to the hospital on time. All right. So doing whatever they're asking me and getting all that other weird stuff. Now, this is a weird question, by the way. When they were checking me in, and I don't know if they're just using this for data, and I don't know why I reacted this way, but she's like, we have to ask this question for everybody, but what is your sexual orientation, or how do you identify? And in the past, like, if you're, let's say, if you were had homosexual sex, they wouldn't take your blood.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, there are reasons why they might ask that, you know. But I just kind of looked at her and smiled, and I'm like, unless somebody's planning on having sex with me while I'm here, there's really no reason for me to answer that question. And I just kind of smiled because I'm like, all right, this will kind of turn into an interesting story. And it's not like, you know, she was like, you have to tell us. It wasn't that at all. She's like, this is, you know, I'm just doing my job. I'm like, no, I get it. But it was a weird thing where I'm like, why are you guys asking for that? You know? So they're like, how would you like to be identified? I'm like, with respect, how's that? You know, not that I'm against, like, if somebody says they want to be called, I mean, I know there's this weird thing, like Tara Vera has this whole thing about the they, them pronouns and stuff. But, yeah, I mean, it wasn't so much that, it was a weird thing. It's kind of like when video games ask you, how do you identify? You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I don't know. It was just weird. It's odd. I'm just showing my age, I guess.
Have you played The Sims?
No.
Okay. I got Sims. They had Sims 4 on sale.
Okay.
On the PlayStation Store. So I was like, fuck it. It's like $5. I was like, I'll buy it. Because I wanted that, like the first one, and I used to do fucked up shit. You know, like build the old swimming pool, took the fucking ladder out. The guy still he's dead.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of psycho shit. But so I'm sitting there and I'm getting the game started, and my sink breaks. In that game, it just breaks and you got to call somebody. Fucking plumber shows up, fat ass, huge ass tits, a beard.
Huh.
I'm like, what the fuck? And it's beard. And it's like, she comes again, beard again. I'm thinking this is like a glitch in the game. And then I start seeing like the NPCs in the game that are in my neighborhood are like, a weird, like randomized mishmash of humans. You know what I'm saying? Like big buff chick, you know, but like was wearing a skirt with high heels. It's like the 3-panel game, you know, you could have mashed the 3 panels.
Yeah.
You know, like the like the head, torso, feet, like Mario Brothers.
Yeah, Super Mario 3.
Yeah. It's like somebody totally whiffed on it, and fucking that's what they made for a human. It was fucking bizarre, dude. And I think they're trying to be like really woke, and like a lot of the people like referred themselves as women, and they spelled it with an X or something like that instead of like a Y, instead of an E in the man part or some shit. I don't know what it was.
Oh yeah.
But I'm like, oh, this game got woke as fuck, and then that's when I realized it's not good. And I lost $5, big fucking deal. You know, I'd be pissed if I paid full price. I'd be like, what the fuck is this? But
you know, it's a weird thing. I was thinking about this the other day where you know, I'll see like my YouTube algorithm, like, you're a Gen Xer, you want to probably hear some videos about how awesome we are. I'm like, we're not awesome. You know, there's a couple things that we did well. There's a lot of things that we didn't do that well, right? And one of the things is that's, you know, something like, man, I wish things could go back the way they were. And I'm like, I don't. You know, like if a kid comes out to his parents and stuff, there's less of likely that they're going to beat the shit out of him and throw him out on the street. That was something that was very common. That was like most of your teenage runaways and stuff like that back in the 80s and 90s. And before that, it's because they were gay and the world didn't accept them. So I'm like, no, this world's way more accepting now. Way more accepting. Yeah. That's a much better thing. The problem is I think that human beings, like, we've never created a concept or a philosophy that we didn't immediately try to find the loopholes in and fuck it up 5 minutes after. You know? And there's... you could take a really, really good idea and you could share it with the world and do the best you can with it, kind of like what we do with comedy and what other artists do with their art. But the moment you try to force it on somebody, people get pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, here's a musical example. U2, okay? They created an album specifically for it to be sold on iTunes, and anybody who had an iPod, that's how long ago this was, that automatically downloaded that album for free onto their iPod. It was like a big free giveaway, right? Well,
yeah.
You would think that would be a good thing. I think everybody thought that would be a good thing. A lot of people are like, why are you putting your fucking music on my goddamn iPod? I didn't ask you to do that. No. Why? Fuck fuck your album, you know? And that's kind of what a lot of people kind of responded to it. So, there's certain ideas and stuff that I don't necessarily disagree with. I don't agree with either, but I wish, like, human beings, as a result, we would kind of learn, like, you know, we keep making the same mistake over and over again, right?
Oh,
you know, do you understand, like, when you're trying to push a philosophy on somebody, that the world has had countless different philosophies between and ideologies that have existed for centuries, and they haven't gone anywhere, and there's not one that's going to dominate completely over the other depending on where you are on the planet. You know what I mean? So you might be somewhere in Asia where Christianity isn't that big, and you're like, oh, I'm a minority. But then you go to the United States, well, it's definitely a majority there, you know? And it just always kind of, it's weird how it all bounces around. But yeah, it was interesting. I saw this video. Oh my gosh. It's one of those things I can't get out of my head because it was so stupid. It's one of those, you know, people reacting to, you know, like, you know, music videos, or it was a reaction video. And it was a reaction about Chris Rock's abortion bit on his latest special, which did you get a chance to watch it yet?
I did not yet, no, because I was going to get Netflix to watch it, and then, like, it got weird, and I couldn't do it because it was trying to, I just couldn't, there's some technical bullshit. I couldn't get a hold of it. I've seen parts of it.
Okay.
I thought this was just like the Will Smith one. The fact that he's getting the shit for an abortion joke, you know.
Well, it wasn't even that. What it really was, this video was a pro-life person who was playing this. So one of the things that's kind of ingenious about it, it's kind of weird because I've heard, like, Joe Rogan talk about it on his podcast. I don't know if he ever actually did a bit about it. And the whole thing is basically, in a nutshell, like, you know, no, women have the right to choose what they're going to do with their own bodies. Absolutely, 100%. But he was like, let's not forget, though, that this operation is killing what could be a baby. You can't get away from that. And that's one of the, he's like, that's one of the things that, that in their opinion, a lot of pro-choice people, they don't really want to talk about. But they're talking about the mother's rights and stuff. But then, like, the pro-life people, they also don't want to talk about, well, what are you going to do with all these unwanted kids? Do you think that, you know, what do you think is going to happen to them? You know? So, yeah, there's definitely, like, the whole idea is that there's topics or parts of a topic that there's people who will try to kind of skirt around because they don't want to talk about it. So, Chris Rock, he was like talking about he's a little bit of both pro-life and pro-choice. And because, like, he's like, I got two beautiful daughters, so for them, I'm very much pro-life. But, you know, I'll tell you right now, I paid for way more abortions than anybody in this theater. You know, like, and then he's like, no, I got a punch card when I go in. I'm like, give me the special, you know what I mean? And, but then he starts to like, yeah, no, kill this baby. I don't give a shit, you know what I mean? And he kind of keeps getting really, really, really intense on the fact that it is a baby that's being killed. You know what I mean? So, this, I think, I mean, the purpose of writing that bit is to point out the hypocrisy of humanity, you know, at its core. She's reading it like he's really, really doing a pro-life bit, but it's, you know, but it's disguised as a pro-choice bit. And it was just like a person who doesn't understand comedy trying to talk about what he's doing. And I'm like, I don't know what upsets me more.
Like, did I lose you?
No, I'm good.
Whatever.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no.
I can still hear you.
We froze.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, sugar. That ain't good.
Hold on. Maybe that was just frozen on YouTube.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, you froze again. Fucking A.
Oh, hold on a second.
Hello?
All right.
Hello.
All right. I think it's good. I think it's back now. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Well, what do now?
You want me to, should I try to call back?
Fuck. This kind of shit happens. I've been with this.
Yeah, don't give me 1 second. I'll call you right back. Okay, what about now? Better?
There we go.
Okay, cool. All right. Sorry about the technical difficulties there, guys, but we got it worked out. I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's I don't know. It was an interesting bit that he did about it. It wasn't his funny stuff. I thought the Will Smith stuff, I think, was the funniest stuff that he did out of the whole evening. Now, don't get me wrong. The whole thing was very engaging. And it's very personal, kind of what you expect to see from Chris Rock. So if you like his other specials, you probably like this one too.
Yeah, I love Chris Rock. Chris Rock's awesome. I love him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. He did fuck up the end of that joke about Will Smith, though. Like, just on like a nuts and bolts level. He did kind of flub it a little bit.
How do you feel?
No, I mean, not like he did something where, like, I think it was like an out of cadence thing with him. I'm not saying the joke was bad. I'm just saying, like, he did fuck up somewhere in that bit, like towards the end. I think he calls her a bitch one time that just was like it came off weird, like, you know, like wasn't like it was a punchline, but it didn't hit the way I think he wanted it to.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It was a little clumsy, but I mean, it was live, so I think if he tapes this, he does that joke again, and it kills.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was you know what I'm saying, like you're watching a guy paint in real time.
Yeah.
And he might fuck up in real time. He doesn't have to go back. You know, he can't go back and edit. This is real time. That's why live specials, man, they're not easy. Carlin used to do them, and I think Louis C.K. did a couple of them, if any. I can't remember, but they're not easy. It's fucking. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I thought the funniest part when he was going like, you know, people ask me if it hurt. Yes, it hurt. I still got Summertime ringing in my ears. Like, and I thought that was pretty cool. I also thought, like, there was kind of, it could have been an olive branch, but I think maybe it wasn't quite that way. But when he started talking about, like, hey, this is what you know, what the problem was and everything. And by the way, or was talking about his wife cheating on him and telling him about this, like, on her own show and stuff, just to boost her ratings. And like, he's going through a lot of shit, you know, and it was like trying to give him a little bit for that, but it was like, I don't know. I know Will Smith did a response. I haven't watched it out of pure respect of not giving a shit. Because I'm not going to feed into that drama anymore. This is probably the last I'll fucking talk about it.
No, it's not. It's over now. It's over now. He said his piece. It's fucking over. Will Smith wants to make it not hurt. Too bad. Too bad. You fucked up, bro. You fucked up.
Yeah.
Accountability. It's not. You don't get to choose your punishment when you fuck up.
Yeah.
You don't get to choose that. That's not part of the deal. And he thinks that he can just be like, well, let me talk to you on my, on my home turf, yada yada yada. And Chris Rock was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do with this what I want to do with this. And he did. And he did. And then I still love the whole, like, he shouldn't be saying that. You know, he shouldn't be talking about the man's wife. And I'm like, I've been hearing that a lot from, like, these, like, athletes and shit like that, like their podcasts and stuff, especially old basketball players. And you don't talk about a man's wife. It's like, first of all, she's a celebrity. Secondly of all, the shit that they've been talking about in public on the internet has been fucking nuts. And that joke was nothing compared to what he could have said.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the moment of the Oscars, not on a special, I mean.
Right.
Like, in the moment of the Oscars. So for him to lose his shit over an a la fucking Pisha joke, it wasn't even that. In fact, he was flattering her in a weird way.
Yeah.
You know, like G.I. Jane. Dude, have you seen G.I. Jane?
Yeah.
She's a bitch. She's a bad bitch in that movie.
Yeah.
You know? It would have been different if you're like, hey, you look like fucking Rocky Dennis in that fucking movie with Cher. Then I'd be, then it'd be like, oh man, fuck, wow.
Yeah.
You know, but like, yeah, it's just, you know, to demand privacy when you do that kind of shit on a level, no, you don't. I'm sorry, you don't. You know what I'm saying? And then to slap a guy on worldwide television, worldwide.
Yeah.
People in Nepal know this fucking happened. Okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking nuts.
people who don't even speak English in the third parts of the world, you know, in the darkest parts of the world, they're like, "Oh man, did you see that shit?"
Yeah.
Big Willie like fucking slapped Chris Rock. A guy who's like like a third of his size, but yeah,
it wasn't a good one. Yeah.
I don't know. I think the grossest response was the way that everybody in that room reacted at the end of the evening.
Oh yeah, they're fucking fakes, dude.
Yeah, so it's real. Like, you know, it's funny because I remember like anytime like during the Bush War, like anytime a comedian or celebrity had an opinion, they would be like, just do your acting or tell your jokes and shut the fuck up, and or sing your song and shut the fuck up. Which I always thought, like, man, you know what? They've got a voice too. They got, you know, just because they have a bigger reach than you do doesn't mean that they shouldn't be able to say what they want to say. And then then the last 2 years happened, and we're like, all right, well, we see the effects of that. You know, I'm on team so and so, and this is what we believe. And you know, if you're on, I don't know, if you're on team X and I'm on team Y, even if you don't agree with everything the team X says, I still can't talk to you because you don't agree with team Y. You know, like it's bullshit like that. You know.
Like, not just agree, but 110% agree on everything that I agree.
Yeah.
Like, we can agree on everything, but like one thing, and that's it. You're gone.
Yeah.
You're gone now. You know. But I mean, I don't know. It's just that poor dude. Like, he got fucking smashed. And there are comics that were just shitting all over him, and I'm like, man, that broke my heart.
Yeah.
When I see comics standing up for Will Smith, and I was like, you guys, you a bitch made, dude. That's some.
Enjoy your fucking headlining spot at the Starbucks near you, you know?
Yeah. But, no, I mean, it's, can't be any worse than what his abortion joke sounds a lot similar to Bill Burr's joke about it at Red Rocks.
It was definitely, I can't remember Bill Burr's stuff, but yeah, his was way shorter though, I think. But I think it's a similar premise. You know, it's in the same ballpark. I wouldn't call it exactly the same, but yeah.
Oh no! I mean, the point they're making is kind of the same. Is what I'm saying. I mean, Chris Rock probably did it differently, but like, you know, Bill Burr made the point of this is, you know, he goes, I believe it is a choice of a woman. You know, your body. You know, fuck you. This is my body. I do what I want. He goes, but you are kind of doing that. He goes, he uses the example of a cake. Like, I'm making you a cake and you just take it out of the oven. The moment I throw it in, you throw it on the floor. Yeah. And you're like, yo, why'd you ruin my fucking cake? And you're like, well, it's not a cake yet. Well, it would have been if you wouldn't have fucked with it. Yeah. So that's the point he made on that. So, I mean, it I don't know. I mean, then again, that's like a third rail. That's one of those stupid third rail subjects. You even try and touch it, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to be fucking like surgical precision, fucking get through it. So. Good luck. God bless and good luck.
So apparently, I didn't know. I saw this. I was curious if there was anything on because remember 2 episodes ago, or maybe it was we were talking about Mark Maron's special, and he kind of had that bit that was kind of about Joe Rogan's audience, but not necessarily about Joe Rogan. And I'm like, I wonder if Rogan ever responded to that, or if anybody asked him. And apparently, I think he was on not too long ago. So I'm like, holy shit! I gotta go listen to Mark Maron's podcast because I'm curious what that what that episode's gonna be like. So a little shout out for Mark Maron there. I also watched, when was it? I watched Jim Jeffries, his new one, and oh, you know, I didn't subscribe to it anymore. I was gonna look it up right now. There are certain things, like there's certain movies that have come out in the past year or two that you could tell, like Guy Ritchie's, not his latest film, the one he did with the van couriers, or the armed couriers and stuff. Jason Statham was in it. I forgot what it was called. Wrath of Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's got Aubrey Pratt. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. It is escaping me, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was just something off about that, and I think that was during the lockdowns, and it affected a lot of people because, you know, people need a certain amount of human interaction, and web calls can only do so much. You know, it's better than nothing. Don't get me wrong; it's more than better than nothing, but you can just tell there was something off, you know. And so, like, when I'm listening to like Jim Jeffries stuff, I'm like, you've been working on this for the past year when you normally would have taken a couple of years to put something out, but you couldn't work on it. Like, you could tell which comedians stayed in versus which ones said, "No, fucking, I'm going out and working."
Yeah.
So,
well, he's also from Australia, so maybe he was fucking in it, couldn't leave Australia.
That could have been that too. Couldn't do anything out there. They locked down hard.
Yeah, they locked down super hard. So he might have like went there in the beginning of it and never was able to leave. That could have been it, because they're pretty strict. They were strict as fuck back then.
Yeah.
So.
And Jim Jeffries is one of those guys that I think that he kind of got sucked up into the machine of Hollywood. You know? Yeah. And because he was kind of like, he used to be this rebel kind of dude, right? And then all of a sudden he turned into an anti-gun person. And I'm like, all right, it's his opinion. He's more than welcome to have it, But then, like, on his show, that they were doing some fuckery with some of the guests as far as some of the interviews and everything. And it's kind of like, dude, was this your idea? And you thought this would be a good idea? Or was this like, hey, we got this idea. This is what we're going to do. It's going to be really funny. Yeah. Don't worry. You're going to be great in it. You're going to, and if they say anything about it, it was all on me. Don't worry about it. We're just going to do this one thing, and I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know. I like Jim Jeffries. This wasn't his best special. I would say 2 specials ago was pretty good, but I love how personal he is. I still enjoyed it. Like, I like it when people are personal about themselves, because you feel like hopefully you're taking a ride, like where they learned something or whatnot.
Yeah.
And the last one that I watched was Kathleen Madigan's newest special that she put out. And I really like Kathleen. Okay. Yeah, I love Kathleen Madigan. I think she's great.
Great. Yeah.
This one, I'm kind of wondering if it was kind of the same thing, where it's kind of like, how much were you able to get out in 2020? And she talks about a good portion of her bit. She's like, no, I didn't do shit. Apparently, my high school guidance counselor was right. Like, I'm not going to do anything if I don't absolutely have to, And so it had some funny moments in it, but it felt off, It felt weird. Like, there's certain comics I know that kept working and kept trying to get out there and doing it because, whether it's because for financial need or gain, or just because they wanted to keep sane, but they kept working on comedy. And for anybody who did any mics in 2020, know that it was a weird environment, because like half the people weren't there anymore,
Not just that, but also other comics would literally give you tons of shit. Like, Armstrong told me when he was running fucking X, that he was getting fucking hate DMs all the time.
Really?
Calling him a fucking... Oh, yeah. Because he ran the show. He didn't think it's Armstrong. He don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, like, but yeah, he would tell me that. I mean, I wouldn't get any. But, like, I don't think any of us got any for doing shows there. I mean, I didn't, but I wouldn't surprise me that Anthony did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Anthony, like, he was, like, in the upper echelon of people at that, like, he's, like, coming in, like, he's a finalist every fucking time on the fucking, the contest, and he's doing big shows and this and that. So he's obviously in the upper tier of what's going on. And yeah, so they were getting a hold of him, being like, you can't do this, you shouldn't be doing this, all this stuff like that, you're killing people, blah blah blah. So, and it was, he knew it was bullshit. I knew, we all knew it was bullshit for us, you know what I'm saying? And it was counterproductive. Like, we gotta get the fuck out of the house, dude.
Yeah.
We need something to look forward to. And having that be a thing is great. We needed it.
Mm-hmm.
We needed it. So, and it was a weird time, and it was, because if I didn't have that, then if I sat at home, well, like, fuck God, dude.
Yeah.
Ugh, no, that would have been awful. Like, I needed something. We all did.
Yeah. No,
I was willing to risk getting. I was willing to risk getting the China flu.
Yeah.
The Kung flu, as fucking Mr. President Trump said. But,
oh my God, it's going to be a tough next 2 years, by the way, because I think every time that guy's in the news, people just start losing their shit, and
oh man,
yeah. So, like, that's an idea I'll save for another time. But no, the Kathleen Madigan one, that one's on Amazon Prime. That one definitely, guys, you should go check out. Check out, she has one on Netflix called Bothering Jesus. That one was pretty good. And she grew up a high school or in a Catholic school and everything, and the nuns were always telling her, don't bother Jesus with this stuff, Apparently he's too busy.
She's what, like Midwest Catholic? Is that what it is? She's like various nations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fucking yeah, you can tell. Like, I think Lewis Black was another one who fucking didn't do really that much anything during the pandemic. And, but like you could tell some of like the comics that did. Like I remember. Have you seen Shane Gillis's new one?
Not his new one. I saw the one in Austin. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that one. That one's great.
Yeah. There was a couple times I had to stop what I was doing because I was laughing, especially like taking his sister who's about to go into rehab.
To a water park?
Yeah, to a water park. And I'm like, dude, and just I love his delivery. He just like, here you go. Like you figured there'd be somebody up there to tell her no, but nope, there's not. Just some teenagers like, yep, here you go. Like, oh man.
Okay, so his when he was on Rogan, when he was on, I think it was the Save Our Parks thing. He was talking about when he first started doing stand up, right? And his dad and everybody came to watch him.
Oh yeah.
It was like and I can relate so much with this because this happened to me my first couple of years. I invited all of my work friends to a show at the Rusty Hammer in this fucking bar in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Dude, there was fucking 8 people in the bar. 6 of them were my friends.
Wow.
So basically it was like, hey, my friends, come to a random bar and watch me yell ridiculous shit into a microphone that's not even well thought through.
Yeah, exactly.
But so then he talks about how like his closing joke was like if someone had a gun and said I'm going to shoot you or you get a 69 with your dad.
Yeah.
Like that. And his dad is there and he's just like, oh, what the that made me laugh because I could see my dad being like that too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I started doing my style of humor in front of him, he fucking would have hated it.
Right.
Hated it. My brother hates my shit. I know he does. I know he does.
Really?
Yeah, he hates it.
Oh.
Fucking not like it. I showed him some stuff that I've made over like shit that's recent enough to where I can say that this is what my act would be right now. Because I have some old videos that are not me anymore. But yeah, I showed him one. He's just like, this is funny. I'm like, yeah, it worked, man. Well, not really, because he didn't laugh. And I'm like, well, dude, it was an open mic.
Yeah.
You want to know what I'm doing? That's what I'm doing. But I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man. I understand the feeling. Everything he said in that story, I completely understand it.
Right.
That's why these shows, like, that's why the mic I ran, I wanted to keep it low key as fuck for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't want any pop and circumstance. I don't want anybody fucking coming there and being like, this mic either. I didn't want it to be something that it was. I just wanted it to be like a bare bones gym. We come in, we got free weights, fucking do whatever you fucking punch a heavy bag.
Yeah.
You know, there's a shitter in the back, fucking get some water and that's about it.
Yeah.
No frills here. Fucking come and do your shit and leave. You know, and that's what I wanted. So like those kind of rooms though is what makes you better. If you can make all 5 people in a pizzeria laugh, you're good.
Yeah, or at least keep their attention. You know, remember, like, there'd always be some guy, like, as soon as they would see kids come in, they would start doing dirty material. That used to annoy the fuck out of me when they do that. I'm like, you obviously never had kids before, man, or even have fucking nieces and nephews that you give a shit about. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, if they don't know if there's an open mic going in there, they're like, all right, we'll stay here for a little bit, see what's going on. I'm like, yeah, so anyways, I was having sex with this pile of dead dog shit, and you're like, what? Oh, fuck, daddy, what's dead dog shit, and I don't know. It's just, I would see that of the Blue Bonnet too. Because I would see, like, I would start to resent the comics that would do that and walk the room. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I was really hoping to try out some new material and see how it works tonight, and see how it works in front of actual people instead of just a bunch of comics who are not going to give me a straight answer anyways, but yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I remember that because I remember like that Wednesday night going to your mic and then going to Devin's right afterwards. It was a pretty cool Wednesday, Yeah.
And then if you did it right, you could do mine. There was mine. There was, I think, another one like the White Whale? I don't know. There was one you could hit in between mine and fucking Anthony's. And then I think there was one after Anthony's.
Oh, wow.
I think you could have done 4 on certain times. I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I remember former comic out here in Denver. You know, I'm not even going to see their name because you know she didn't leave the comedy scene on good terms. But she was always about like, you know, I got to try to hit 5 mics tonight, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, her comedy did improve, but it kind of got to a point where it's kind of like you're just doing the same thing over and over again. You know, you need to add weight to your reps or do more reps. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I remember because I'd given her a ride once or twice, and then eventually had to stop doing that because, you know, sometimes they're like, hey, I'll give you a ride once, twice, okay. Then it seemed like every time you see me, you assume that I'm going to take you somewhere, and I'm like, oh no, I got to go. Sorry, you know, and yeah, that was a weird time. But yeah, those were the specials that I watched this week. I know it's not that much of a review, guys. I was thinking about starting to review channels, just because it's super meta.
There you go.
Like some guy wants to give, like, dude, if you want to find like, anytime somebody says, you know, toxic masculinity isn't a thing, and I'm like, I hate that term too. But then if you go on YouTube and you put MCU sucks into a search thing, you are going to find a shitload of dudes making like these high-end YouTube videos and just breaking down everything to look at everything that Disney or Marvel puts out in the worst way possible. Like,
well, that's what the quartering does, isn't it? That's his whole stick.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's his whole stick. You know, like he'll make a fucking big deal out of like the fucking Little Mermaid being black, and it's like, all right. I mean, I was like, that's an odd choice, but okay. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking mermaid. Okay, she's black, whatever.
She could be whatever color they want her to be. She's a mermaid. They don't exist. It's all right.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I just don't like when they fucking like they try to like when it's too ham-handed. Yeah. That's when it offends me. You know what I mean?
Right.
When they try to make much of a deal of the fact that this guy's black, it's like, okay. It's like if they remade like Julius Caesar, be like, but we're gonna have everyone in there be Asian. And you're like, okay, what the fuck? Okay, all right. So are you offended that they're all Asian? Like, no, I just think it's an odd thing because they're all like fucking Southern European.
Yeah, right. But hey, like, if that's what you want to do, you know, go for it. You know.
Yeah, go for it. I'm not like saying you're a morally bad person. I just don't understand it. I'm like, you do you. Fucking, if you want to throw money out the window, fucking go ahead.
Yeah.
Be my guest.
Oh, man, it's a crazy world we live in. Gosh, what was there was this concept that I wanted to run past you, and I'm going to write about it later, and you'll probably hear about this sometime on stage at some point, guys. You know the phrase, don't mistake kindness for weakness?
Yeah.
Right. Everybody, if you never heard that phrase before, it says, just because I'm a nice guy, don't think that you could take advantage of me. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. That's what the phrase is. I was thinking about it this week. I'm like, hey, we should probably add, don't mistake weakness for kindness. And that just kept running through my head when I was in the hospital. Don't mistake weakness for kindness. And I'm like, some of the most toxic bullshit freaking people in my life were some of the weakest motherfuckers on the face of the planet. Can never keep their shit together. We're always blaming everybody else. Everything else is the problem and stuff. And they basically ended up being like an energy vampire around so many folks and stuff. So it's kind of like, hey, let's, you know, and sometimes a lot of people, like, I've been that person. I didn't realize I was doing it until somebody pointed it out to me. And then I'm like, holy shit, you know, and then I changed my behavior and I'm not that person anymore. But, yeah, I think it was just the concept that just because somebody belongs to a particular group or has a certain disability, that means that they're at a certain base level of kindness. I'm like, you really shouldn't assume that, because that's how you get to take advantage of by sneaky people who are really good at taking advantage of people, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird thought that I had. So.
No, you're right. No, yeah, that's, I mean, if you want to make it into a bit, I'd work on it, but.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not funny. Definitely not.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's definitely I had a phone call with a buddy of mine that I haven't talked to in a while. Like, we've been recently talking, but we didn't talk. Like, when I moved to Denver, I kind of pissed him off. Didn't really tell him. I was just like, see ya, bye. Right. Didn't even fucking say bye. All of a sudden, I'm just in Denver. He's like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
yeah.
And so we didn't talk for like a while. We're starting to talk now, and I'm catching him up. We're catching up with each other, and I like went off the deep end about like how I feel about certain family members in my extended family, not my immediate family,
right?
Like cousins and shit like that. And he was just like, I don't know what to do with this information, man. Like, that's fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it was like, I would have a cousin who, like, I was good with her kids. Like, I was, we got along, we were friendly, but I was not like an authority figure to them, which I wasn't trying to be. But she would be like, oh, you're here, you can watch them, they like you. Well, here's the problem, they like me, but like, when I have to tell them to not do something, they would not listen to me.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I mean? And I would try and tell them that, and they would just dump the kids off on me and just fucking go out and do stuff all the time. It just happened constantly to the point where like I had to like disassociate from that group because they were just too much. They were fucking 35-year-old fucking human beings acting like they were still 17, even though they have like fucking 2 kids that are like 6, 7, 8 years old. And I'm like in my early 20s, late teens, like 19, 20 years old, and I got to deal with this shit. I'm like, this is, and that's what they would do because they would just assume like you'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't strong enough to tell them. I didn't have enough balls, or I didn't have the wherewithal to fucking be like, yo, no, I'm not doing this. Right. After the first time, I would wait until it got real bad, then explode on them and be like, fuck you, you piece of shit. And then it really ends, but then it's bad because it's like a, pressure cooker. But yeah, no, I just didn't tell them. Like, no, I'm not doing this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so that's the weakness of kind. Like, I don't want it to be nice, kind of, sort of, but also, like, as far as the kind thing. But at the same time, I don't think it was the right call. I should have just said no.
Right.
Hence the weakness.
Yeah, it's being human is tough.
Dude, yeah.
It's definitely that.
You're telling me. Yeah.
Well, shit. So what should you talk about for the next week's show?
Shit. Old friends. There you go.
I can talk shit about some of my old friends. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to figure something out. I'm trying to get some of the other people. Like I was trying to get Jeff Cohn on the podcast, and I think he's in New Orleans tomorrow. And I'm like, well, good for him, man. That guy's fucking out there and he's doing it. He found a way to break through. So, yay to him. But yeah, I wanted to talk to him about it because it was like, he hustles now.
What's that?
He hustles now. Like it's not just that he knows how to make that he's doing, he's getting gigs as far as comedy goes, but he also makes a living off of selling painting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the guy is super, super fucking smart and his work is really amazing. So I was like, yeah, I got to get into his head and ask him because I'm like, I'm tired of being at the spot where I'm at right now. I definitely want to rise. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think I'll probably start signing up for New Talent Night again. Even though I don't really have I don't have the same time there that I used to. Like the first couple of times it was magical because it's awesome. You're like, oh, you're in for a good evening and everything. I've just, I've been passed over. No, not passed over, not even noticed. And a lot of that's on me too. I'm not blaming them for that. But I'm like, oh, geez. It wasn't until like the last time when I asked Roger Hack, I'm like, what are you guys looking for? Because I would do the same thing with acting. I would always ask the director, what are you looking for? What do you want? Because I already got 5 different versions of this character that I'm going to do, that I can do. Which one, instead of just us bumbling around, tell me what it is that you want, and I'll find a way to make that happen. And he's like, well, we need a laughter before 30 seconds. Ideally, we want to have X amount of laughs per minute. And they're trying to be really technical about it. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, so now I know. So I got to put together a 3-minute set where it's just nothing but boom, 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 boom. And then I'm like, all right, here, that's, what do you think of that? And if they don't raise me, then I'm like, all right, well, it's not the first time I didn't get what I wanted. I'll just go back and keep working and try to do something better. But yeah, I don't know. We're still getting settled here at the new place. So hopefully, I'll feel a little bit more healed up by next week where I can feel more comfortable driving more than 5 minutes, and then I'll be back out there again. So you haven't lost me yet, Denver. So
you know what you should do? Actually, I'll tell you this off the air.
Okay, fair enough, man.
Yeah, actually, what I was going to tell you was what you should do is not have cancer. No.
Yeah, exactly. That would be a good idea. I don't know why I thought that was going to help me, but
yeah. I don't know. That's in my mind. I should have told you that earlier. My fault.
Nobody tells you these things growing up, guys. If you get a chance, try not to have cancer. Yeah. Well, man, 50 minutes I think is pretty good. Once again, thanks for continuing to do this with me, man. I really appreciate it. I haven't done a disjointed podcast in a while, and I'm like, I need to start getting back to it. Like I think Bear will be on next week, which I haven't had him on in a long time. So I'm like, all right, this will be pretty cool. And
this keeps me sane too. Like, dude, I don't do anything here.
Yeah,
I'm serious. I don't do shit. I come home, I get stoned, and then I play video games and go to bed, repeat.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to save money. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not save money, but I'm trying to pay shit off. So I can have the ability to do the things I want to do in a year.
Yeah.
Like this time next year is gonna be the big fucking reveal of what the fuck where I'm going.
Right.
Right now I'm just working to get there.
Fair enough. Well, guys, if you happen to check out the audio of this podcast, we do this live on YouTube. So go look for us. We're at We Talkin' Pod on YouTube, and I'll put the link in the liner notes and stuff for this one if you guys want to subscribe. Just so that way, if you want to take part in the chat room and stuff, you're more than welcome to. And yeah, say what you want to say. The worst thing is going to happen is that I'm going to ignore you. That's pretty much it. Well, somebody says, "Hey, you're a fat piece of shit," and I'm like, all right, I'm not going to answer that because I know that you're sitting on the other end of that keyboard waiting for a response, and you're not going to get it. So that's how my little revenge. So. But other than that, man, signing off for mansplaining, not for mansplaining, for We Talking. I'm Dave Germain.
I'm Greg Hamill.
Have a great week, guys. That was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no.
Wait a second. Hold on, let me end the stream.